Well, a win's a win, but are these poor performances something to worry about? Dan says hopefully new faces can gel quickly and bringing Hamer back will sort everything out. But are fans right to be worried? Hardly been turning over poor teams like Derby. Plus, we're talking about 3 years of Chris Wilder, February fixtures, January awards, and we're completing our worst ever 11 on Where Blades Walk. This is, of course, where we talk about the worst ever midfielders. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got our full team back with us in Elliot, Connor, Shax, and Dan. And thank you very much for joining us as well. We're talking about the Derby result. Let's start with you, Shax, this week. Are fans right to kind of say this? Well, a win's a win, but the performances are getting a little bit worrying?
I'm of the opinion 3 points is 3 points. I don't care whether you have 99% possession, 1% possession. I don't care about this XG. I don't care about passes completed. I care about full-time result, and it were 1-0. And Leeds won 7-0 and got 3 points, and we won 1-0 and got 3 points. So that's my view on it.
I thought it might be. This is the opinion of fans. Some fans. So Martin says it's not quite gelling yet with the team. Hamer walks straight back in next week. Derby had a couple of good chances, but you only need one. Dan, your opinion on this? Are you worried about the performances, or do you know that it's going to be absolutely fine by the time you play Leeds in 3 weeks' time?
Yeah, I do. I think it'll be all right because I think we've got players coming back, and I even think yesterday was he didn't put out his best side. I think you're looking at Gus Hamer to come back in. You're looking at like we've said before about other players to come back into the squad as well. But I'm not worried because I think, like Shaq said, whether you win 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 7-0, you get the same points. And I just don't buy in. I don't buy into performances. I think it was somebody that said it. I watched it on a podcast, Mick McCarthy on the Kosh podcast, and he said, "Yeah, but." I hear managers saying, "Yeah, but we played well." It's absolute nonsense. It's you can be worse team for 89 minutes and pinch your winner, and you've got 3 points. It's totally irrelevant to me. It's about winning, and that's it.
Cheers for that, Dan. Some players getting a lot of praise. Connor was your new man. Hamza Chowdhury, we said last week he was going to be good. How good was he for you?
Yeah, I thought it was unreal. I loved it, especially that we had him and Sousa playing at the side of each other. It sort of gave Sousa a bit more license. He could get forward a bit more, and he didn't have to just sit in front of that defence. But Chowdhury himself, he is what he is. He's a ball winner. He's nothing too fancy on the ball. We don't need him to be. We've got all these attacking players in front of him. All his job is was to pick that ball up and win it back. And I thought he did exactly what he needed to do. And if he plays like that for another 17 games, I think we're nailed on for them top two.
I've got to agree with you. I mean, Leicester fans were saying you're getting a really good deal here. Other new faces, I didn't talk about this one last week, Elliot, because we didn't see it coming. But Harry Clark, views on this one?
Yeah, to be honest, I thought it was fantastic. Fantastic loan signing. We got him on loan, I think, if I remember correctly. He looked quality against Derby. To be honest, he looked fast. He had the Sariki-esque qualities to him. He looked like he was confident to say he's in a brand new team, different play style. He just looked like he was built for the Sheffield United red and white. To be honest, and there's no negatives towards his first game from me anyway. And I've seen a couple fans that have not said one single negative thing about him. And yeah, I just think he'll be a perfect addition to our squad and hopefully help out our back line.
When all these jigsaw pieces fall into place, then Shax, are you more confident now with the signings that have been made that second place is definitely going to be yours, especially with the way that Burnley are going as well?
Yeah, I've said from day one I think we'll go up. I think a squad's strong enough. I think we've got best manager. He's won an LMA Managers Award, so that I don't even think that's up for discussion that he's best manager in league. He's done it before. He's kept us there before as well. So I think we'll go up. And the signings, what we've made, are just like I don't know what the right word is. They're just like cementing that. You know what I mean? Cementing what I believed anyway. I thought we'd go up. We've got to where we've got. We're a team full of kids, team full of second string players, if you like. So adding these players to it, I think it just confirms that we'll be a top 2 side. I mean, Leeds are looking good, but Burnley, I didn't think they were all that when they beat us. I thought they beat half a Sheffield United team, and they weren't really convincing when they beat us then. I think they had one chance in first half, scored that. And yeah, I think we're better than Burnley. So yeah, I think it'll be us and Leeds.
I'll be honest, just to interrupt there, also, all lot here, stick 20 quid on United being champions, because that's what will happen. I'm just going to tell you that now, by the way.
Okay. Bold claim. We'll discuss it when we get to Leeds in a couple of weeks, shall we? Let's talk about Callum O'Hare for a second, if we may, because we've talked about the players coming out on Twitter with lots of praise. Fans, including Shax, as we well know, has posted this week that for the first time, Con, it seems as if Wilder's actually cottoned on to the fact that he might not be as good as he first hopes. This is a reply to Shax's post. As usual, seems like Wilder might be noticing it too. He actually subbed him off for an hour for once. He was awful. Connor, was he awful? And do you think Wilder's now seen what Shax has been seeing for what Shax has been seeing for months?
I think awful's being polite.
No, to be honest, I think the best you're going to get out of him is when he's with Aimer. He's got that link-up play and that partnership with him. When he hasn't got him with him, to me, especially when he's on the ball, he looks lost and he struggles to retain the ball. He's not really effective off the ball. He's got that press, which everyone praises him about. And yeah, he's got a really good engine on him. His work rate's unreal. But other than that, it's what does he offer? And when you've got a creative attacking midfielder, which meant to have given a big wage, you need that goal output and you need to see them performances. And with Aimer, you see it with him. Without Aimer, I think these last 2 games, if we had Aimer rather than O'Hare playing, we win both of them games comfortably. And it's what he offers to you, and then what O'Hare doesn't, you can see that massively. And as much as I do want to like him, I think we've given him enough time. And that what did surprise me with the subbing. I think that's the first time this season I think he's ever been subbed off as well, which really shocked me. But yeah, he's not as effective without Aimer, and 100% next game you got to take him out and put Aimer straight in for him.
I think it helps now. It helps now as well that we've actually got players that can come in and replace him. We're getting a squad back that they have got other people that if he don't perform, i.e. like Saturday, he's going to be subbed, isn't he? So
yeah, a lot more likely now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we dare?
I think as well with O'Hare. I think with O'Hare as well. What I've spoke about it with Dan before, but if at this stage of the season, you can compare our players with players that play for teams that are around us. So obviously, I won't compare him with like Plymouth's number 10, but I think it's fair to put him up against people like Leeds, his number 10, Brendan Aronson. His stats, his style of play, everything he does blinds O'Hare. We can compare him with Josh Brownhill, which is like Burnley's sort of number 8, number 10 role. Blinds Callum O'Hare at everything. Even Sheffield Wednesday have got Josh Windass, who scored 4, 5, maybe 6 times as many goals as him, more assists than him. Everybody that plays in that number 10 role that's in any sort of successful team will have, by now, after 26, 27 games, will have either an healthy goal tally or they'll have an healthy assist tally or something like that. All he's got is where he runs about. And when Aimer plays at side of him, if Aimer played at side of me, I'd look good because Aimer's that good. It's not to do with whether I'm fed up hearing that about, he's all right when Aimer plays at side of him. Like I said, any one of us 5 could play at side of Aimer and we'd look better than if Aimer weren't there. You know what I mean? He's that good. He can make anybody look good. Stop giving him a free ride. He's crap. That is what he is. I don't want to hear this. Or when he's got it, so when he's got Ronaldo at side of him, when he's got Messi at side of him, any decent player will make him look better, as he would anyone. You know what I mean? He's run his race for me. I'm sorry, but he has. Now we've got better players. He can't be in that starting lineup. I'm sorry, but he can't.
The there's a reason I didn't send that question your way, but I'm glad we got we got there in the end.
He were always going to finish with. He were always going to finish with it, though, weren't he?
I can't let him off me. I can't let them performances off. You know, being a Sheffield United fan, it's different to being a fan of other teams, and there's a way how you've got to play and you've got to be. And he does not fit that. I'm sorry, but I'm nearly 40-year-old. It probably goes back further than that, but there's a way that you've got to be, and he don't. I'm sorry, but he doesn't do it. It's just not that player.
I don't think you're going to be on your own, Shax, at all. I think more and more people might have disagreed with you 2 months ago, but I think more and more from what I'm seeing on social media, definitely coming around to your way of thinking. Right, thank you for that. Healthy debate, always on Where Blades Walk. Let's move on to a new topic of Chris Wilder, shall we then? Elliot, you can have the first digs on this one. 3 more years of Chrissy Wilder, 2028. Joseph says 3 more years, Chrissy Wilder. Tal says another 3 years of watching Wilder football. Imagine this team with someone who is tactically good. That is from a Sheffield United fan. Elliot, what's your thoughts on 3 more years of Wilder?
Yeah, mate, I'd have him for more 10 years, 10, 20 years plus. In my time of watching him over the past 18 years, he's been the best manager that I've seen. His tactics are unmatched. He's a United boy. He's basically born and bred at Bramall Lane. The fans love him. He loves the fans. Yes, he's had his a couple of dodgy spells, but every manager has them dodgy spells. But 3 years, I think they should scrap that and sign him for another 20 years. Because I can't think of anyone who I would want more than him controlling our team with our push to the Premier League. It might be different when we get to the Premier League. We might get battered, and he might have a tactical nightmare. But that's to come. And I am always going to be a Wilder in, and I will support him to the day I die, really, because I have got so much respect, and I think a lot of fans do. Connor, Dan, and Chats can all agree with me on this. He just knows Sheffield football. He knows how to mold the team around certain players, or he knows, like, the one thing he could improve probably could be the sub. But then again, it was when we didn't have the depth in our subs. We're starting to get that now, so we might see better changes, better timings of the changes. But overall, I'd have him for another 20 plus years. But yeah, I think he's amazing.
I agree.
There was a positive yes. Then, Dan, anything to add to that?
No, I just think when he first come in, after we had, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Nigel Adkins, yeah, and he come in and there were no identity. He brought it in. Whatever happened during his first spell happened, but I think we also give him his mojo to carry on as a club. I think it's a struggle because without him, what are we going to be like? We witnessed that. I think when Neil Warnock left under Brian Robson, I think we witnessed that a little bit of Slavicia Kanovic as well. But to be fair, I thought Paul Eckenbottom brought a bit of that back because being a Barnsley lad working for the academy, it weren't all that bad. But listen, he's the football club and more. He's he's one of them. When he loses, he hurts more than we do. And there's not many managers like that, and he does. I think, and no disrespect at Watford and Middlesbrough, I'm not saying he didn't try. He's always going to try and do his best wherever he goes, but it's just not Sheffield United, is it, for him? It's you could see Saturday's celebrations at end, the way that the fans, 98, 99% of the fans with him all the way. You get your odd 50 to 100 fans that want to pick on him for breathing, basically, but listen, he'll always be the GOAT, and long may it continue.
Okay, well said. Thank you very much. This week we're also looking at the February fixtures. We're into a brand new month. Let's have a quick nose over these then, shall we, Connor? I mean, many fans are expecting you now to go and leather Portsmouth, by the way, as a sign of kind of, we're in this race as well. 3 home games. Borough Wednesday night to come as well, and then a massive one against that lot on the Monday night and a trip to Luton. How many points out of 12, Connor, is the minimum for this month?
12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your optimism.
Obviously, we like to say we go into everyone and go for them, especially with 3 games being at home. They're obviously, well, to be honest, we're probably better just as good away from home as we are at home. But with 3 being at home, you'd like to think we can at least get two or 3 wins out of it. Obviously, Leeds being the difficult one, I don't think that it decides the title whether we win or not against them. Anything can happen. I mean, last time we beat them to the automatic promotion places. I'm sure they had about a 12-point lead or something like that. So nothing's written in stone yet, and until obviously that final whistle goes at the end of the season, I think everything's to play for.
Okay. All right then. Also, let's get some of your January players of the month briefly. Shax, who's the unsung player of the month for you for January?
I'm going to go Armadodzic. I think he's been really good lately. Obviously, take that defeat out, but I went to Watford away. I thought he were brilliant in that game, and there were a couple of us got Tom Davis and Peck. They did real bit. I thought Armadodzic were unsung, like you've just said. I thought Saturday again against Derby. I thought Armadodzic class. He's one of the ones that always sticks out to me as a Premier League player. I think when you step up, Anel's definitely one that can step up, and I think he's had a class month. Where he's had a class couple of months. I didn't think any goals against Hull were his fault, and yeah, I'd go Anel.
Okay, good shout, Elliot.
I'd go with Shax on this one. Admin Hostage. He's he just looks good. He looks strong. He's just a typical Bosnian player, you know. He's a no nonsense. He loves his good dirty little yellows, you know. But
He reads the game as well.
Yeah, he reads it perfectly.
He does.
He might have a couple of slip ups, but it's not always his fault. It's mainly the person he's been partnered with. You know, you can see he's always, if he loses the ball, he's bang straight at him, and if he gets a yellow, he gets a yellow. Deep down, we all know he does love a bit of a dirty tackle, a bit of a high foot every now and then. But yeah, for me, this season so far, even in just January, it's got to be Anel all the way. He's like Shaq said, he's a quality. He can play in the Prem, and he looks like a Prem player, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Connor, Dan, very quickly, any very brief names to add to that?
Sidney Peck for me.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say.
I think he's for a lad that's come into this since Blaster got injured. I think he's been brilliant. And just to quickly add that if Sousa and Chowdhury weren't in team, you wouldn't complain that Peck and Tom Davis would be. But yeah, it's for me. I'm going to go Sidney Peck.
Okay.
Sorry, Connor.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, Sidney Peck for you, Connor, as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I'd have gone with.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you very much, you four. Before we finish this week, you can help us out with this next part, of course, as well. We've been the last 3 weeks putting together the worst ever Sheffield United side because, of course, January is so rubbish. So, in the comments below, can you help us out now? Who is the worst ever midfielder that you've seen play in a Blades shirt? We'll run around the team in a second, but you massively help us out. Whilst you're there, drop us a subscribe as well. Getting close to 400 now. That would be absolutely amazing for something that's only been going for 4 months. Help us out massively get to 400. Right. Where should we start? Let's start with the youngest, shall we, Elliot? Because you've not had the full kind of knowledge of what these more senior Blades. Putting it politely, of course.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the worst midfielder in your time? Yeah.
Well, to be honest, obviously my heydays, well, not heydays, but prime days was obviously there was not really many that I can think of. But when I was looking back over the memories when I was younger, one of them's got to be Martin Wolford. He was a sub. He was sub at best. You know, he just looked lost. He didn't look like he knew what to do. To be honest, he probably looked more comfortable at a McDonald's drive-through than being in our team.
Okay.
And then
he was bad.
He was, and then closely followed by Dean Hammond. He I don't know what we were thinking. didn't see much of him, but when I did, I didn't want to see it because he just wasn't it, you know. So yeah, between them two, it'd be either Martin Wolford or Dean Hammond for me.
Shouts. Connor, can you give us a name?
Well, I had them two on top of my head, but third one I could think were James Harper. Got him from Reading, played centre mid. Didn't really do much. He just sort of stood in the middle of the pitch, just pointing around for 90 minutes every game, and I don't know why his name just sticks in my memory because I despise him.
Okay, all right. Dan.
I think there will have been that many for me to care to think about, but I think Elliot definitely covered two of them in terms of Martin Wolford and Dean Hammond. I think they were horrific. I mean, I can think of another one we had a while ago, and I think he only played about one half, and he weren't. I don't know if we got him in a swap deal. I'm talking, I think it was early 2000s, a lad called Brian Launders. Wow. I don't know what we saw in him, but yeah, they'd be mine anyway.
Brill, we've got 4 already, but Shats, can you add to this?
Worst signing would be a midfielder, and that'd be John Ebrell from Everton. He played 45 minutes and he broke his leg, and we never saw him again. That was his first £1 million player. But the worst midfielder would be a toss-up between Dean Hammond or a lad called Ian Hamilton. I'm sure Dan will remember him, Ian Hamilton.
Yeah.
We had him and Jonathan Hunt came from Derby.
I forgot about him. Yeah.
I think they were in Vas Babocki, sort of Lee Morris deal, but Ian Hamilton, mate, I'm telling you now, he was Sunday League, but I'd have fancied my chances against him.
Right, let us know if you haven't done it already in the comments. Thank you for that. Next week, we conclude this worst ever Sheffield United side by picking the captain and the worst ever manager that Sheffield United have had as well. Join us for that. It's also Valentine's Day next week. We'll be asking these 4, how did they first fall in love with the Blades? So sharing their personal stories of how old they were, what was their first game, etc. So join us for that. Thank you. Have a good week. Enjoy the Pompey game. Leeds put 7 past Cardiff. There's one fan that said, right, we've got to show Leeds what's to put 7 or 8 past Pompey. We'll see you next week to see whether that materialises or not. Have a good week, everyone.